Hey, you guys, welcome to Mornings with Mo. I'm Mo, your host for all of the absurdity of, well, every day, to be honest with you. It is all absurd, it is all crazy, and I am here for it. I do have a story time because apparently the snow is not over in Indiana. Now, I didn't get this memo, so it was full snowmageddon this morning trying to get the kids to school, and they still had school, which was good, but oh my goodness, was it cold and snowy, and I do not like to drive in cold snow. But I hope everyone is staying warm and staying toasty while the weather is supposed to just go nutso the next couple of days. But our first story is, and goodness, I don't know, but I am just going to say no to flying ever again. I don't know, but the current news is like I am just going to be a fan of the Great American Road Trip from now on. Delta Airlines crash survivor describes mass chaos before the plane flipped upside down. Now, fortunately, as terrifying as these pictures look, everyone survived. There were a few injuries, but it wasn't, as deadly as some of the crashes we've been dealing with here lately. But it still looks terrifying, and again, I would never fly again. I think we've established that. A Delta Airlines passenger flight has recalled the chaotic final moments leading up to the aircraft crash landing and flipping upside down on a runway in Toronto Pearson International Airport on Monday. John Nielsen is one of 80 people who miraculously survived the disaster aboard Delta Flight 4819 that left 18 people injured. Speaking to CNN, Nelson said that the runways at the Canadian airport were in a weird condition. It was a typical flight from Minneapolis to Toronto, he told the outlet. We were coming in, and I did notice that the winds were super gusty. The snow had kind of blown over runways, so it was coming routine, but it was noticeable that the runways were in kind of a weird condition. And when we hit, it was super hard. We hit the ground and the plane went sideways. I believe we skidded on our side and flipped over on our back, he went on. Nelson added that in the moment before the airplane stopped, he noticed that there was a big fireball on the left side of the plane before the aircraft went belly up and its passengers were upside down. Now, thankfully, everyone was okay, but it was mass chaos. It was an emotional roller coaster that you go through, but it's things you hope you don't see again. We tried to get off as quickly as possible, and shortly thereafter, there was another explosion. But luckily, the firefighters got out of there, he added. Now, the flight operated by the airline's subsidiary, Endeavour Air, took off from Minneapolis about 11:47 a.m. and crashed at about 2:15 p.m. All of the 80 people, 76 passengers, and 4 crew members made it off the plane before it burst into flames. A total of 18 people were left hurt, with 3 believed to be in critical condition, including a child. Now, it was not immediately clear what caused the plane to go belly up on the snowy tarmac in Canada's largest city. The Bombardier CRJ 900LR had one wing severely crumpled and the tail section was partially sheared off. The terrifying video of the wreck posted on Storyful shows a pair of firefighters jumping out of a side door of the craft and sprinting towards safety seconds before another massive fireball erupted from the fuselage. It's the first major incident involving a commercial jet crash since the January 19th crash of Army Black Hawk helicopter and American Flight 5342 at Ronald Reagan National Airport. Unfortunately, in that crash, all 67 passengers and crew were killed. So I am glad that they, everyone was out safe. Now, I do believe that it is current policy. I haven't flown in a long time. Now, Wolfram he has jury duty, if you can imagine it. So I'm sure he'll have all the stories. I'll just interview him on his jury duty trial and see how that's going. But I do believe that you do take car seats for kiddos now. I could be wrong. But again, I haven't flown in about 7 years. And before that, it was 16 years before that. So I don't have your aviation needs. In a story that I just thank God it didn't happen in Indiana. Because, this seems like an Indiana story, but 148 pounds of crystal was found in stone landscaping pavers in North Carolina. Police seized nearly 150 pounds of, well, crystal hidden in concrete pavers ahead of Valentine's Day in North Carolina, according to officials. Well, someone's not going to have a good holiday. I mean, it's kind of ingenious to hide it in, brick pavers. You got to give it to them. I mean, nature finds a way. It's like Jurassic Park, only for, yes, only for, the more squirrely among us. The Beaufort County Sheriff's Office drug unit seized 148 pounds of crystal, according to a statement on the sheriff's, Facebook site. They found the drugs, or when they found the drugs, the unit was following up on an investigation after Greenville Regional Drug Task Force had made an arrest in January in Pitt County, North Carolina, which is about 45 miles southeast of Raleigh, North Carolina. The unit was deployed to Pentago, North Carolina, 50 miles east of Pitt City, where they found the narcotics hidden in several pallets of stone landscape pavers. So it looks like they made the little pavers right around the Tupperware where you store your crystal. I mean, it is kind of ingenious, I'm not going to lie. I am kind of like, wow, they did a really good job smuggling it. I mean, not good enough to not get caught, but that was pretty genius. Canines trained to indicate the presence of illegal narcotics were deployed at the scene, according to the sheriff's office. The dogs indicated that the drugs were present in the pallets, and police found one of the pavers, which was shaped like a hexagon, contained a circular container that hid more than 800 grams of crystal. In total, police found 84 of the stone pavers that each contained 800 grams of the substance. The Greenville Regional Drug Task Force, Drug Enforcement Administration Raleigh, North Carolina, Beaufort County Sheriff's Office, and other supported agencies are investigating the case, and the investigation remains ongoing. Beaufort County Sheriff Scott Hammonds asked anyone, if you are missing your crystal shipment, please call the police. They would like to help you find your tracking number. Can you imagine that? Excuse me. I was supposed to get some pavers, and I'm not going to lie, but I really need to get my garden and my house cleaned. So could I get my what's sad is someone would probably call in to say they had, been, let down by their local, not street legal pharmaceutical, provider for their, crystal. Just ridiculous. Well, it looks like we found him and he's not dead. I thought we had a picture of him here. No, they didn't put a picture of him in this article. But the vegan transgender cult leader has been found. That's right, he is not dead like, stories of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Leader of a cult-like group linked to multiple killings was arrested in Maryland. The leader of a cult-like group that has been linked to multiple killings, including the fatal shooting of a Border Patrol officer in Vermont last month, was arrested in Maryland on charges of trespassing and other crimes, authorities say. Jack Lasota, 34, who goes by Ziz and has espoused the dangers of artificial intelligence, was taken into custody Sunday in Frostburg, a rural area generally midway between Pittsburgh and Washington, D.C., Maryland State Police said in a statement. Now, Lesota of Berkeley, California, also faces a firearms charge and obstructing and hindering, according to a statement. Two other people, Michael Zacco, Michelle Zacco, 32, of Media, Pennsylvania, and Daniel Blank, 26, of Sacramento, California, were also arrested on similar charges. All three are being held at the local jail, and it was not immediately clear whether they have lawyers to speak on their behalf. Now, the state police statement, which did not provide additional details about the charges, noted that the agency is working with federal law enforcement and Allegheny County State Attorney's Office in an ongoing investigation. Now, Lesota, a computer programmer previously associated with a Berkeley-based organization that seeks to use mathematical and logical principles to improve the world, was said to have died in a boating accident in August 2022, according to a brief obituary that appeared in their hometown newspaper in Alaska. But since then, Lesota, who identifies as a woman, and their associates have been linked to a series of violent attacks, including a 2022 stabbing that left an 80-year-old man partially blind. That victim was then killed last month in a homicide that prosecutors said was intended to keep him from testifying in the trial linked to the initial attack, which was scheduled to begin in spring. Now, Lesota has not been charged in connection with that killing, but authorities found them at the scene of the 2022 attack just 3 months after they had supposedly died, according to an email a prosecutor sent to one of Lesota's attorneys at the time. In January 2023, the parents of Michelle Zauk, she unalived her parents. I can't. She was arrested Sunday. They were found dead in their Pennsylvania home. Both had been fatally shot. Now, Lesota was charged with obstructing the investigation into their death and was released from jail, having posted a $10,000 bail. A bench warrant for Lesota's arrest was issued after they failed to appear in court. Their whereabouts have been unknown until as recently as early as last month. Now, Michelle was taken into custody in connection with the killing of her parents, but was later released and has not been charged with their deaths. Another follower of Lesota's is a German national, Ophelia Backholt. He was fatally shot last month in an exchange of gunfire with Border Patrol agents in Vermont. Now, the shooting occurred during a traffic stop when another person riding with Backholt drew a gun and fired at one of the agents, according to federal prosecutors. Backholt and the border agent, David Malland, were fatally shot in the gun battle. Now, according to an FBI affidavit, Backholt was shot after she pulled out a firearm. The circumstances of that shooting also remain under investigation. The person riding with Backholt, Teresa Youngblood, has pled not guilty to firearms charges. Shortly after the shooting, federal authorities sent an alert asking firearms dealers in Vermont for their help in identifying any purchases made by Michelle, the woman who lost her two parents, whom the alert identifies as a person of interest in a fatal shooting. So, yeah, these guys sound all the ridiculous. Not gonna lie, artificial intelligence scares me too, but you don't see me, becoming a vegan. Honestly, that's just a bridge too far, for me. Mostly because I love bacon and Spam. Well, I'm not going to eat them, but if they'll help me treat something, I'm kind of okay with it. Again, I tried oysters once. If you like them, that is awesome, but they're just slimy. They're sea snot. You're just eating a sea booger. I don't get it. It's not my jam, but if you like oysters, have at it. I'd rather have pearls and not eat, ocean boogers, but that's just me. Again, probably not the greatest way to market that, but that's what they felt like. I mean, to me. I tried them once and I was like, rich people really pay for this stuff? Rich people are weird. Of course, I have the palate of a 12-year-old with well, actually, a toddler who has to have like their food not touching. So, really, I have no stones to throw. Slurping oysters may soon do more than just satisfy your seafood cravings. Australian scientists have discovered a protein in the blood of Sydney rock oysters that not only kills bacteria, but also boosts the power of conventional antibiotics. The finding could be a game changer against the antimicrobial resistance, which has been called a looming health crisis. Antimicrobial resistance occurs when a bacteria or other germs evolve to become stronger than the antibiotics designed to kill them, often due to their overuse or misuse. Infections caused by these so-called superbugs are tougher, if not impossible to treat, claiming more than 1 million lives worldwide each year since 1990. The situation is only expected to get worse. A 2024 study predicted that antibiotic-resistant infections could cause more than 39 million deaths by 2050, 3 fatalities every minute without intervention. Researchers at Southern Cross University believe that the Sydney rock oysters could play a role in combating this growing health crisis. When developing new drugs, scientists often look at nature for inspiration, focusing on organisms with built-in defense mechanisms against infection. In fact, more than 90% of the antibiotics we rely on today come from natural sources. Oysters are constantly filtering bacteria from water, so they are a good place to look for a potential antibiotic. Kirsten Breckenhoff, a study co-author and interdisciplinary marine scientist at Southern Cross, said in a statement, "Again, if I don't have to eat them, we are all good in the neighborhood. If it's going to make me not have, the creeping crud every winter, I'm cool with it. Just don't make me eat sea boogers." In an earlier study, the team discovered that a protein found in hemolymph, aka oyster blood, was effective at killing strep, and so different strains of streptococcus. The bacteria is responsible for both pneumonia and sore throat, respectively. Now, normally, bacteria evades antibiotics and the immune system by forming clusters called biofilms, which encase themselves in a sticky protective layer. Well, gross. Researchers found that oyster hemolymph protein helped block biofilm formation and could prevent existing biofilms, allowing antibiotics to target the bacteria more effectively. In lab tests, the oyster protein increased the effectiveness of antibiotics against a range of dangerous respiratory pathogens by as much as 32 times. So this is actually really quite, good to hear. Just one of those existential things that I start to worry about, but the use of antibacterial soap and a lot of the things that we've done have really made antibiotics not work as well. I mean, you've got parents and people that only take a couple days instead of taking the full course. I see you out there. I have been that parent before. I am better now. But hopefully this will work, and I'm hoping that that would be a great, boon to things. I love that we have scientists working on things that could actually help us instead of redonkulousness. Now, there was an article that I saw here that I wanted to pull. I hadn't seen it. Interesting. All right, so it looks like we might have another, just twist in the Madeleine McCann, just shenanigans. Polish woman who claims to be Madeleine McCann releases bombshell new DNA test results. A Polish woman has doubled down on her claims that she is Madeleine McCann. Julia Wendelt, who also goes by Julia Wendell or Julia Faustina, has alleged that a new set of DNA tests strongly support her theory that she's related to the British child's father, Jerry McCann. Now, the 23-year-old garnered global attention in 2023 after she created the Am I Madeleine McCann Instagram account, where she questioned whether she was the 3-year-old who vanished on a family vacation in Portugal in 2007. I don't think so, but I'm not good at the whole datology thing. However, her case weakened in April 2023 after she took a DNA test that determined that she wasn't actually the missing daughter of Kate and Jerry McCann. In 2023, the test found that she was of Polish, Lithuanian, and Romanian heritage, which debunked theories that she could be Madeline. She later apologized to Kate and Jerry for the ordeal. However, she stated earlier this month, after she returned to Instagram with a new account, Am I Julia Wandelt, where she shared new DNA tests that claims were submitted to a world expert in the field. She claims that the expert, whom she did not name, oh, well, I believe you. I mean, I'm an expertologist too. Said her DNA matched some of the toddler's key features, including eyes, teeth, and voice. Okay, well, I can tell you right now that there's no phenotype for teeth. So that's no. You might be facially similar, but I don't see the heterochromia in your eye. So let's go back up here. Now I can't get a good look at her peeper, but it doesn't look like she has the heterochromia, and I don't believe you would outgrow that. So if you are seriously trying to grift and get clout by putting, okay, I have very mixed feelings about the McCain parents. I could not for the life of me imagine being in a foreign country and going out every night and leaving my kids in an unlocked apartment. Don't get me started. I do not like that they did that. But again, to drag them through and, you know, something that isn't true, it's just ridiculous. In a series of posts on the platform in which she referred to Jerry and Kate as my parents, she claimed that her actual DNA showed that she's part British and part Irish. Well, I'm part Toucan Sam, but, look, I would love to be part Little Debbie, but I'm trying to be better with my life. For the love of all that's holy, sure. She added that genetic evidence strongly supports that Jerry McCann could be Julia's biological father. The McCanns, for their part, have refused to participate in any tests. The Polish woman says that her source for the alleged analyzed hair obtained from the floor of the crime scene in Portugal and saliva obtained from the bed quilt at the scene resulted in a 69.23% match. Now, genetic evidence strongly supports that Jerry McCann could be Julia's biological father, as the date aligns perfectly with a parent-child relationship. Well, yeah, I don't think she's alive. I wish that she were a vibrant 21-year-old and out there living her life. And, she got taken by a lovely family who just wanted a baby girl. But I just got done doing the Madeleine McCann case, or not the Madeleine McCann, the Megan Boswell case, and I feel like Red from Shawshank Redemption. I'd like to tell you that Madeleine is okay. Living her life. She's an Instagram influencer. But this is the world. This is the real world. That baby's probably gone. If this analysis is accurate and properly derived from their DNA samples, the relationship between McCann and Julia is biologically consistent with that of father and daughter. Yeah, but so you're not related to, the mom? I mean, okay, Jerry, you have some splaining to do. Now, Julia had previously gone to great lengths to prove that she was the missing girl, including submitting 3 samples for different forensic examinations to outline her DNA, and a 23andMe style DNA test to establish her ancestry. On social media, she attempted to prove her case by pointing out physical similarities between herself and Madeleine. She even appeared on Dr. Phil, where she doubled down and denied her biological parents' claim that she stole her own birth certificate and childhood photos to hide her true identity. Well, she sounds like all the crazy. Now, Julia's spokesperson, Sigurt Sinclair, told the Daily Mail that she's determined to have the McCains and her Polish parents take a DNA test. However, Claire adds that both parties have refused to get involved. Despite indicators that she is, no, indicators being what? She's human too? Like, this chick doesn't look like him. I'm sorry. Him, her. They look similar in that they're both human, but I don't see, she's got much fuller lips. Now, if she was, her lips aren't the same structural as Kate's. Okay, ma'am, just miss us all with this noise. But if Dr. Phil says she's good, then okay, so there you go. She's probably not Maddie like everyone else probably figured out. And the people that are still desperately hoping to or clinging to that, I'd love it if I could believe and, truly feel with my heart that Madeline was out there doing something with her life, just living life as a 20-year-old with no idea. But this isn't, Face on a Milk Carton. This isn't a young, adult novel. And unfortunately, life doesn't always work out like that. And it rarely does in kid cases. Well, I guess you can be rich and unalive your husband, but you're still going to go to court. A wealthy mom of 3 who allegedly unalived her husband after he discovered her affair appears in court as police still search for the body. You guys, these eyebrows are warnings. She is angry just standing there. Those are angry eyebrows. I do profile eyebrows as a fellow female, and I profile those eyebrows as I am trying to use an expired coupon and I need to see your manager because you're a peon and you can't give me a break. This woman is a total, I would need to talk to your manager. And therefore I avoid her. A wealthy Utah mother of 3. Utah, y'all are having, Utah, you might be getting right up there with Wisconsin as for the Florida of the Midwest. A wealthy Utah mother of 3 accused of shooting her husband dead while he slept following a screaming match over an alleged affair she was having appeared in court this month as police still search for a body. Jennifer Geldhill, 42, pled not guilty to murder and waived her right to a preliminary hearing at the Matheson Courthouse in Salt Lake City on February 6th, Fox 13 reported. Geldhill, for the love of goodness. Dressed in a blue jail jumpsuit, donning black framed glasses and her hair tied back, confirmed that waiving her rights to the hearing was her decision when asked by Judge Adam Moe. The cold-blooded killing allegedly came after a night of drunken smecks, during which Geldhill admitted to sleeping with another man. Now, call me crazy, but if you're having married time with your husband who is like in your face, I just don't know if that's the time to bring up like, hey honey, like BT dubs. Also been boinking other people while you've been gone, but I'm glad we get to reconnect right now. You would think that wouldn't be like, okay, possibly just, I could see how that could lead to an argument. Now, the mom is accused of fatally shooting her 51-year-old husband, Matthew Johnson, in their Cottonwood Heights home in late September after they got into an argument when he confronted her about her alleged affair. The mom of 3 then allegedly disposed of his body and reported him missing on September 28th, 8 days after she allegedly offed him. However, the alleged offing was brought to light after another man came forward and told the cops that he'd had an extramarital affair with Geldhill, and she confessed to him about the gruesome murder. I mean, what is a side dude if he's gonna rat you out? How terrible. Pick your side pieces well. Make sure they won't rat you out for felonies. Also, don't confess to anyone if you're gonna unalive your spouse to avoid divorce. Again, I understand he's like you're the love of your life besides your husband, but if he is going to be potentially charged with accessory to a crime, he don't love you that much. He just not that into you. It's a special kind of love to take a felony for someone. And this just ain't it. Now he says that she confessed to him about the unaliving. Now her alleged lover, who has not been named, claimed that Geld Hill told him that her husband, a Utah National Guard member, had confronted her on September 20th and yelled at her because he knew she'd been sleeping with someone else. See, you get all into Pilates, you start feeling yourself, and then women, you just go out and you want to be cougars. This is why Pilates are the devil. No, I'm just kidding. The defendant told the informant that she had shot Mr. Johnson the next day as he slept in their bed. The statement said she told the informant that she put Mr. Johnson's body into a rooftop storage container, slid him down the stairs of their home, then loaded his body into the back of their minivan. Geldhill then took her husband's body north, dug a hole, and buried him in a shallow grave. The DA said all of this information was given from her alleged lover. Now, prosecutors believe that the alleged murderer then smashed Johnson's phone, drove his truck to a different part of the neighborhood, and brought her car to a car wash. She was caught on surveillance cameras thoroughly cleaning out the car after the alleged killing, and police tracked her phone's GPS data to the exact spot where the truck was later found. Investigators have not found his body. The DA said that Geldhill's lover provided message screenshots and phone recordings to the authorities. The informant said he had noticed bruises all over the defendant's body, and when asked about them, the defendant said they were from moving Mr. Johnson's body and cleaning their house. Really? He's cute, and you're already sleeping with someone else, and you probably go to church every Sunday, ma'am, with that fake little smile you have on, like you. And you know what? This is what I don't like about this heifer, because I'm guessing, now I am profiling, I do not know this chick, from Tuesday, but I'm guessing she is one of these heifers that would have had a real big problem with like a single mom, or, oh, she got a divorce. She was probably one of these people in the parish that's like, she is just not hanging her stockings at home at night. Just, over here gossiping, just being a hateful cow the entire time, knowing she's boffing someone else and going to off her husband, allegedly. I'm just saying, I have seen a couple of these people. I know them. Now, Geldhill is also facing 5 counts of second-degree felony obstruction of justice, as well as felony drug and witness tampering, as well as desecration of a human body. While searching the couple's home, police say they found a new mattress in the master bedroom with reddish-brown spots on the wall and bed frame, bleach stains on the wall behind the bed and on the stairs. They also searched the couple's home and found a Glock 19 box wrapped in a child's onesie where, Geldhill would normally sleep. Now, neighbors also claim to have seen Geldhill's parents helping her clean the house until almost midnight on September 24th. Her mother told the authorities they were only there for about an hour, and her dad said he couldn't remember the details of the day. Court records revealed that the couple was going through a contentious divorce and custody battle over their 3 children, who are 11, 7, and 5 years old. Geldhill had gotten a temporary restraining order against Johnson in late August. The court denied her application for a permanent measure on September 16th after a review found that he had committed no abuse. Now, the alleged killer's next court appearance is scheduled for February 28th. I do think that this will be a case that we'll follow because she already kind of sort of ticks me off already. And look, part of it is just abject jealousy. Since I have become a parent, a mom, or even a functional adult, I have never had a white shirt, mostly because my boobs have their own gravity. And children, you buy a white shirt, you get it out of the store, and there's already a stain on it if you are me. So yes, I am hating on her because she has a beautiful white t-shirt on with no stains. That is exactly my level of petty right now. But I'm okay with my level of petty because I woke up to snow and I was promised global freaking warming, damn it. And I think everyone here is just a little ticked off that we're not living on Tatooine right now because we're living in a freaking igloo. And I was promised a Tatooine. Well, I mean, I don't know if this says I love you so much that I just can't stand to be not with you, or, if he just listened to Roy Orbison a little too long and didn't listen to the whole song, because the whole song is I drove all night, crept in your room, woke you from your sleep to make love to you, which is still kind of creepy if you really analyze it. It's not I drove all night to your next dude's house, you know, did a little arson. It's a felony for me. Dang, Roy Orbison, always getting us in trouble. Murderous intentions. A man drove 740 miles. Wolfram has jury duty, so he will be reporting back, I am sure, after his jury duty time. 740 miles to burn down the house where the family of his ex's new online romantic interest lived before she even met him, police said. Well, that's some pre-planning for a tangent of a tangent. Like, she hasn't even met this dude. How do you even know if she's gonna like his family? This is what we call all of the crazy. A Michigan man, and we should have known. It should have been and from Michigan and swipe right or left or wherever you're supposed to swipe no on Tinder. Drove hundreds of miles to the home of a perceived romantic rival in Pennsylvania with the intent to set the family's home on fire, as you do. Bensalem police announced the arrest of Harrison Jones, 21, who they said traveled about 740 miles from his home in Michigan with, quote, murderous intentions during a press conference with Bucks County District Attorney's Office on February 17th. The Bensalem Police Department said that Jones drove his black Volkswagen from his home in Rockford, Michigan, to the Bensalem home of a man that his former girlfriend was planning to meet. Jones's ex-girlfriend had apparently been engaging in an online relationship with the Bensalem man and was planning to meet him in person for the first time. So Jones decided to make a solo road trip to the man's house and set it aflame. He then drove the 11 hours back to Michigan. In the early morning hours of February 10th, one of the home's residents heard one of the family's dogs barking. She went downstairs to investigate and reportedly saw a hooded figure she assumed was her 22-year-old son, who lived at the home. After she went back to her bedroom, she continued to hear a disturbance downstairs. And when she went back downstairs the second time, she reportedly saw her entire home engulfed in flames. All 6 members of the family, including the woman's elderly parents, were able to evacuate the home without major injuries and were treated at a nearby hospital only for burns and smoke inhalation. One person was treated for severe smoke inhalation and remained in the hospital for 2 days. But both family dogs perished. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Screw this dude right now. Lord Chippy does not like people that hurt doggos. Slinky, that sounds like last week. That sounds like last week. We had a day where I think it was all the seasons in one day. It was cold as heck in the morning, and then it turned to 70 degrees, and then we got fall come back. So he ended up, not only were there 6 people in there, so he didn't know who lived in this house. So there were elderly parents. There were a bunch of people living in the house. They could have died. He could have been facing 6 murder charges. But I hope he gets charged for animal cruelty for the 2 family dogs that perished in the fire, because that has to be like a super duper crime in my world. Through the family's statement, police learned that one of them was planning to meet a woman from Michigan whom he'd been communicating with online since 2023. It was going to be the first time they'd met, and the family were reportedly told that she was being driven from Michigan to a nearby hotel in Pennsylvania by a good friend, Harrison Jones. Police said that Jones was tracked using surveillance cameras from homes. One said they showed someone getting out of a black Volkswagen on the same street as the targeted home. The person can be seen getting something from the trunk approaching the home around 5 a.m. That person then returned to the car and turned off the engine looking for something else, took something else out of the car, and then ran toward the home. About 10 minutes later, that person returns to the car and drives away. Now, according to an affidavit obtained by the Bucks County Coroner Times, smoke can be seen on the video about 30 seconds after the car was gone. Jones's car was also tracked with traffic cameras and automatic license plate readers, which provide police information about who owned the car. The car allegedly driven by Jones was registered to one of his family members with whom he currently lived. Jones was also caught on a camera at a Wawa store in Pennsylvania. Kent County Sheriff's Department in Michigan then became involved in the investigation and got a warrant to search Jones's home on February 13th. Now, according to the affidavit, police allegedly found a medicated cream used to treat burns, gauze, and a lockpicking kit. They also found the same black Volkswagen in the home's driveway. And thank you, Slinky, for the super chat. I do believe so. She is about as stable in her moods as I am, which is not a feat. We do not engender to be as emotionally stable as Mo, because that is a bad thing. And thank you, Slinky. And it looks like he burned himself. And welcome, Shizzy Raiders! When police questioned Jones's father, he reportedly told him that he had installed a phone tracking app on his son's iPhone and showed that his son was allegedly in Pennsylvania 2 hours after the fire started. Police also interviewed Jones. They observed a fresh wound to his forearms, which they were believed to be burns by the police. Now, Jones denied that he'd ever been to Pennsylvania. No, it's only your car and your phone that were there. Look, I was just a traveler. I am not driving. Kent County deputies placed Jones under arrest. He is currently waiting extradition. Jones faces 13 felony counts, including 6 counts of attempted criminal homicide, 4 counts of arson, risking catastrophe, and other offenses that were not made publicly available. So, yeah, you're a douche who unalived dogs because your girlfriend decided not to go out with you anymore. So you went to her new possible boyfriend and decided to burn their house down. Like, ridiculous. Freaking psycho people. Well, it looks like there is a new documentary that is dropping about the Gabby Petito case. So I am going to be looking into this possibly today or tomorrow and see how they take this film and do kind of a breakdown like I did with the JonBenet Ramsey case. By all accounts, Gabby Petito's relationship with her fiancé, Brian Landry, did not resemble the rosy picture she painted on social media as she attempted to get her #van life aspirations off the ground. Sadly, those accounts didn't start pouring in until after she was dead. Federal investigators concluded that Brian killed Gabby in August 2021, less than 2 months into their odyssey. Her dream of tooling around the United States' most breathtaking spots in their 2012 Ford Transit Connect van and documenting the experience on YouTube ended a few days after she posted her first and only video. The new Netflix docuseries American Murder, Gabby Petito, delves into Gabby and Brian's toxic relationship, the days leading up to her death, and in the ensuing search for her and eventually Brian, who took his own life September 2021. While the 3-part series revisits well-trod territory, it features new interviews with Gabby's parents, friends, and an ex-boyfriend, as well as investigators who worked the case. Directors Julia Willoughby Nason and Michael Gasparo also used Gabby's own photos, videos, and journal entries, chillingly read aloud using voice recreation technology. No, that's creepy. To piece together the reality of what was going on between her and Brian. After Gabby's body was found in the Spread Creek camping area of Wyoming's Bridger-Teton National Forest on September 19, 2021, the coroner subsequently ruled her death a homicide caused by manual strangulation and blunt force trauma to both her head and neck. Brian wrote in a notebook found with his remains that he had ended Gabby's life, and they had been crossing a stream and she apparently was injured so badly she begged him to make her pain go away. The FBI has called BS on his version of events, as did Gabby's family. We knew at the point that we were never going to be able to remotely get close to answers we were hoping for, her stepfather Jen Schmidt says in the series, because the only two people that truly knew what happened were both gone. Jim was in Wyoming when her body was found and had to break the news over a conference call to Gabby's mother, Nicole Schmidt, and father and stepmother, Joe Petito and Tara Petita. While her fate is well known, it's all the more heartbreaking to see Gabby alive and well in her videos, earnestly trying to make something of this trip that, as discussed in the series, she increasingly did not want to be on, or at least not with Brian. Here are the revelations from American Murder Gabby Petito that shed new light on her life and death. Gabby's Petito's family thought Brian Landry was nice, but they didn't support, Brian didn't support Gabby's kind of van life dream. I will probably be watching this, so I'm not going to go through the entire article because I want to. I will be very honest with you guys. This is another one of those cases that for me, I didn't get that into. Again, I have two teenage daughters that are, getting ready to embark on starting their lives. And this is one of those scary, scary cases for me. So I didn't quite get too into it because, again, mom nightmare just on tap with this case. Oh, crud, I deleted it, but I didn't mean to delete it, so let me... In headline news, but somewhat of a similar case, and again, I haven't caught up with this one either, so you guys probably know more about this than I do, but body found in search for missing University of Colorado student. It looks like, sadly, unfortunately, they found the missing student that they had been looking for. A body matching the description of University of Colorado Boulder student reported missing last week was found in a, quote, hard-to-reach terrain over the weekend in Boulder Canyon, according to police. The body, which has yet to be identified, was located Saturday at the 40-mile mark of Boulder Canyon Drive, following a coordinated search for Megan Trussell. Trussell, 18, was last seen in her dormitory on February 9th, wearing a blue or gray jacket, dark red yoga-style pants, and white sneakers, according to the university. She was declared missing Thursday by university, police. Colorado Bureau of Investigation issued a missing Indigenous person alert on Friday in a post on X, showing a photo of Trussell and the distinct blue purse with a pink star that she was carrying when she was last seen. Boulder Canyon Drive was closed Saturday as investigators recovered the body from hard-to-reach terrain requiring a technical evacuation, including the need to rappel, according to the sheriff's office. With the road closure, investigators were able to recover the decedent, conduct the investigation, and provide safety to first responders working the area due to hazardous road conditions created by the weather. The decedent's name is not being released at this time, pending identification and confirmation, also notification of next of kin, the sheriff's office added in a statement. The Boulder County Coroner's Office will also determine the cause and manner of death. A strong storm system brought heavy snow to parts of Colorado over the weekend. A family friend told Denver 7 that Trussell wasn't much of a hiker. It's very perplexing how she just seemed to have disappeared, Judy Brodko said. It doesn't make sense, so we're trying to piece that together. The loss of a member of our community impacts our campus, the University of Colorado said it in a statement as administrators announced the discovery of the body matching Trussell. Our hearts go out to the family, friends, and community members of those we lose. We also support resources available in the coming weeks and, months to support community members as they process their grief. So hopefully they have, some idea and we can get answers for this family. It doesn't look like she was in super hiking clothes, and I would assume in Colorado you would have to wear some fairly good boots and things like that. So that doesn't look like anything you would want to wear to go hiking, especially if there's inclement weather on the way. So it's very interesting. I'll have to look into this case. I feel like I've been on the Megan Boswell train, so now I've got all these cases. I'm like, I need to look at this and I need to look at that. In a cute story, because we need a cute story for the love of all that is holy, a Brazilian couple celebrated 84 years and 77 days of marriage. And they look so cute. A Brazilian couple whose wedding was in 1940 officially took the Guinness World Record for the longest marriage for a living couple. Manuelo Angelim Dino, 105, and Maria de Sousa Dino, 101, were awarded the title when Guinness World Records and LongeviQuest, a website that tracks data about centenarians and super centenarians, certified that they'd been married for 84 years, 77 days as of Valentine's Day. The duo met in 1936 and were married at the chapel of Boa Ventura in Ceará, Brazil in 1940. The couple raised 13 children and now have 55 grandchildren, 54 great-grandchildren, and 12 great-great-grandchildren. The longest marriage ever lasted for 88 years and 349 days. David Jacob Hiller and Sarah Davy Hiller were married in 1809 in Canada. So there you go. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that going around. I do wonder what's going on there, and I will have to look more deeply into it. I also need to go grocery shopping today. If anyone would like to go grocery shopping for me today, that would be great. Uh, Now, listen, I intend to be an incredibly sassy, wrinkled old woman who tells people exactly what they think. So, I don't know about this forever young thing. But inside biohacker Brian Johnson's bizarre 349 a ticket Don't Die Summit supplements Peen Talk and Grim Reaper cameo. Yeah, because I want to see this dude shirtless for $350. The answer is no. Again, no. Brian Johnson wants to live forever, and for just $349 per ticket and your Saturday afternoon, he promises to share the secrets of his age-defying body with us ordinary folk. The Silicon Valley mogul is infamous for going to extreme lengths and spending $2 million a year to stop himself from aging. Why? From injecting his son's plasma into his bloodstream to taking nearly 100 supplements a day, there's nothing that he won't try, apparently on behalf of all humanity. I don't know why the hell he is shirtless. It's like the P90X guy. I didn't understand why he was shirtless half the time, nor did I care. But if he said to the X or to the max one more time, I was going to throw that CD as far as I could across a dumpster heap. Now Johnson is selling the dream of eternal youth to wannabe immortals, who showed up in their hundreds at the Javits Center on Saturday for New York's first Don't Die Summit. Well, I mean, I guess if you survived the entire summit, you already win, so you can't sue for it being a bunch of crock. Because you did technically stay alive during the entire summit. Though I've personally come to terms with my own mortality, I decided to join them. I was handed an agenda at the door and commanded me to rage against the dying of the light, a quote from a Welsh poet, Dylan Thomas. Dylan Thomas was not talking about getting crow's feet, you absolute numpty. I mean, the people who are here, that was not what Dylan Thomas was talking about. He was like, "Oh, and behold, there were liver spots upon my hand, and I said, rage against oil of Olay." How can you take a wonderful poem about that and, and change it to be self-serving and about you not dying? How wonderful. Join the war with death and its causes, which apparently is being waged in a small corner of the venue's basement. But first, upon arrival, one must traverse Longevity Park, which is dubbed Longevity Disneyland by the organizers, but looks more like a Silicon Valley science fair. Why is the Grim Reaper here? And why is he shirtless? I have yet to have answers to any of these questions. And y'all took $350 from me, and you've got this guy in a not even, like, that is Party City costume levels. Like, we couldn't have even bumped up to, like, art student, costume. Come on now. Uh, a couple dozen booths peddled age-defying technologies from caps that can beam red light onto your scalp to stimulate hair growth to a hyperbaric oxygen therapy capsule meant to promote plasma production. A man dressed as the Grim Reaper roved about taunting the wannabe immortals as they checked out the devices. It was unclear if he was paid to be there or simply a troll. Oh my god, I would love to wear. That's it. We're all flash mob. We are going dressed as, plague doctors and Grim Reapers to this next con. We are. That's what we're doing. Brian Johnson, what he does, the way he does it, it's so beautiful, sincere, a little cultish. It's all those ingredients, and it has a great narrative. Alina Bartomova, a creative director who attended the event out of curiosity, observed. Some were die-hard longevity junkies. Erin, a 40-year-old product designer, told me she invested $1,500 on a red light therapy device to promote skin growth and installed an infrared sauna purported to improve her heart health in her home. She also uses a device that stimulates her vagus nerve to reduce stress. This sounds like a terrible idea. What in the name of Hades is that? That looks like a rotisserator from Ron Popeil, only it's for people. Or a little... No. Look, whatever is going on in there is bad. Capsules with green lights make me think of aliens. She also takes a cocktail of supplements, including a malaria drug, methylene blue, which according to some studies may slow aging. Well, I'm not just going to break open my malaria drugs just to not have crow's feet. She was disappointed that Longevity Park felt like one big ad. I'm very interested in longevity and wellness, but there was a lot of buy rather than trying out products. Others were skeptical observers, like Nia, a 70-year-old wellness nurse from the Bronx who believes that we are mind, body, and spirit, but that Johnson is spending way too much time fixated on the body component. There is a spirituality that's lacking in being so regimented, she said. They say that discipline is freedom, but coming here today and looking at all the vendors, I feel like something's missing in the essence of life. Further on the inside, Johnson, 47, even when he wears a shirt, he has to show his nipples. This is just one guy's desire to show the rest of the world his nipples, and this is the only way to validate it. Also, I really like his nail polish color, and I'm like, damn, I want to get some of that myself. Which is not something I would generally think I would say. But stop assaulting us with you shirtless and your nipples, sir. Stop it. Gonna freaking call class action. I don't want to see your nippular area. It looks like they're staring at me. Giblets. So now Johnson, 47, donned cargo pants and very little else on the main stage where he hosted 2 information sessions, Life System and Habits You Should Build Your Future Self, and Roasting My Longevity Protocol. Johnson's own excruciating daily protocol begins at 4:30 a.m., where he does red light therapy, shocks his vagus nerve, and eats multiple pounds of vegetables in a single sitting, with 2 meals by 9 a.m. Okay, this just sounds dead awful. Like, who wants to live forever if you're going to be stuck getting up at 4:30, shocking your vagus nerve and eating multiple pounds of vegetables? Like, just no thank you. Much like the technology he peddles, Johnson himself looks a little futuristic, sculpted, curated, and yet somehow sterile. Well, because he looks like a cyborg from any of the Alien franchises. I mean, if Michael Fassbender isn't available for the next, Alien pre-Romulus, get this dude. He appears almost AI generated, a far cry from the chubby-faced techie who sold his company, Braintree Venmo, to PayPal in 2013 for $800 million. Like, you have $800 million and this is what you're eating? Like, I would be getting Bakewell tarts made by Paul Hollywood himself. I am not gonna lie. But if this is my life after $800 million, ew. Just no. I mean, look, I like fruit. I like whatever amalgamation of burnt that is. I have no idea what these 2 things are. They look kind of terrifying, but okay. I can deal with broccoli. I mean, there's no cheese sauce. That must have been an oversight. God, I used to love it. Do y'all remember those little, like, 99-cent or like 50-cent little bags with broccoli and cheese in it, and you would try to lie to your mom like, I'm eating broccoli, but it was mainly just a vehicle for the cheese sauce? Yeah, that never flew in my house. My mom was like, no, the cheese sauce is bad for you. You have to eat regular broccoli. And I was like, well, then how are we going to get me to eat broccoli anyways? It was always one of those questions I had for my mom. Like, and then how does one eat broccoli all by its own self? Of course, that was never a good thing to say to my mom because she was a vegetable-tarian. Not a vegetarian, just she loves vegetables. So she would just eat the broccoli raw, and she's like, it's great. And I'm like, it's green. Okay, to be fair, I have not known many people with a general intolerance for green foods. And you guys, I have tried. I have tried with the avocado. And even if you mix it up and pretend it is chocolate pudding, I can still taste the green in there. Now, I don't know what that says about me other than I'm just going to go the happy, fat, sassy old lady where I can say whatever the hell I want instead of being an ageless cyborg that must always be shirtless. What is this dude's problem? Holy fizzle. No, seriously. Like, sir, I say this respectfully, and normally I don't tell people what to do, but go get yourself a cute little girlfriend and have as much time with your rich self having smexy time. I mean, it seems like you need a hobby, and I only have a couple hobbies, but I don't think you can reproduce, so I say go have smexy time. Because I don't understand your deep need to be shirtless and eating vegetables while doing yoga. What the hell is wrong with him? like, again, you guys, I would rather die. Also, he lives with his 19-year-old son, and this is the father-son picture we decided to take. What the hell is wrong with these 2 people? Screw it. I don't care if they live to 5,000. They look weird, and look, that is just... Wait a minute. Did we just do... Okay, I found a part of the article that we will be covering. Now, he famously icked his ex-audience in January when he posted data comparing how many happy times, erections, he gets throughout the night with his 19-year-old son. Now, there are some father-daughter or father-son bonding things that I can see Mr. Mo doing with the little young ferals. Doing an erection off with them, I don't think is like a bone off. Like, what do you call this? I mean, apparently, so one of them had 5 and the other had 6, and that's a lot of minutes. Aren't you supposed to go to a doctor after that many minutes? 182 uh, total duration erection episodes. 94%. Okay, I just have to know, what kind of monitor do they use? Are you kidding me? His nighttime erection duration is 2 minutes longer than me, Johnson wrote. Raise children to stand tall, be firm, and upright? Are you fucking kidding me? There are so many levels of ick in this. First of all, it's your 19-year-old son. Second of all, I don't want to even know about your erections, let alone his. And now you guys are having a bone off? Like, what is going on in your life, and why hasn't CPS been called? As he pursues immortality, Johnson has taken a myopic interest in genital preservation. I mean, he looks weird. I'm not shocked. He has electrically shocked his Johnson in pursuit of, well, erections like an 18-year-old boy. He rates his experience a 9 out of 10 pain. He also injected his junk with Botox, apparently to add a whopping centimeter of length. Making himself ageless, or making himself an ageless guinea pig cost $2 million annually, subsidized by his tech fortune and his blueprint business, which appears to be selling solutions to problems he has implanted in the minds of his customers. This can't be right. Who the hell does this? Who the hell pays money to go see this? Okay, probably us, because we would dress up as trolls, but I mean, this has to be just a joke. These can't be real people. This is not real. But I do have a story time that is real for you guys before you head out into the wild world of the internets, as you do. And as I get to go to Walmart. But so I get out to my car and I look around, and God has decided to bequeath us yet more snow. And Mr. Mo has a new kind of schedule with his work. So he goes in super early. Now, what did Mr. Mo take with him while not also doing the one, like, boy job that he is supposed to do as my husband? Now, if you answered, scraped my car off, you would be correct. Now, I do think that, looking at it objectively and giving Mr. Mo all the benefits of the doubt, he has been off for a week, and it's getting back to work after a whole time. So I got a broom, and I'm over here sweeping off this snow and trying to find a scraper, but we have no scraper anywhere. So I finally decide, screw it. I just let it sit on with the heat, and the, windshield wipers are just welded on with ice, and I'm just done at this point. So we've gotten everything going, and we're driving the car, and it is snowing pretty hard. I was actually glad that my daughters had gone in earlier. And I'm just, driving the car as I always do, minding my own business as my children decide to make me almost crash. So I'm just hearing, regular general conversation, trying to drive, fairly like a person that hasn't lost their mind, seeing snowflakes on the ground. And I hear my youngest, most feral son say, I think I'm going to do my own LuTube channel. Now, Lutu is just how he says YouTube. I don't know what it is about the Y sound, but it always comes out like an L sound with all my boys. But he's like, I'm going to search for ghosts. My son is definitely, into the paranormal stuff. And I am over here just driving, and I've heard this story from my youngest, most feral before. Now, all of a sudden, from my back seat, and I know that there are only two people in my back seat, youngest, most feral, and middle son, I swear to God, I hear Dana Carvey's church lady come out because my middle son then said, well, if you're a real Christian, you won't be going into paranormal stuff because that's Satan. Now, I would like to tell you that I did not whip my head firmly back to see, you know, if Dana Carvey had been there, but I did glance very quickly because it was either that or John Lithgow from Footloose had taken over the soul of my youngest, middle son and was like, thou shalt not dance in our church. But I was just like, I said, well, then I asked my middle son and I said, well, why couldn't he do what he wants to do? And he's like, because it is witchcraft and Satan. And I am just trying not to die laughing because I want to respect both my middle son's deeply held John Lithgowian and Shiite Christian beliefs versus my younger son who doesn't quite get why there would be any problem with looking for ghosts as a Christian. And my middle son is like, well, I just never. Y'all, I about died because, again, I was like, did church lady take your soul? And I was trying to, because, my youngest son by now is like, I can too be a Christian and look for ghosts. I mean, Jesus is a ghost. And then my middle son is getting just irate with like indignation. And I'm like, you guys, it is too early. I am driving in snow. So could we possibly, decide whether we are allowed to dance or not tonight? And then my kids both looked at me and they're like, I don't understand. And I said, when you watch Footloose, it'll make total sense. But yes, my middle son, for reasons I have yet to understand, completely decided to, just channel Dana Carvey's church lady as I'm trying to drive on snow. Really, these children are just trying to get me into a car accident. Because I swear, I wish I had recorded it, although I don't record my children, but just the tone and the general just like 87-year-old grand dame of the church, just indignation, like, we Christians do not dabble in witchcraft. It was just like, and I said, sweetheart, I told my middle son, it's always his big issue. I was like, sweetie, you worry about you. And God worries about all of us. You worry about you. You don't worry about how someone else isn't doing the right thing. You just worry about you. Was about as concrete of a a solution we got to right now, but I am sure that I will be filling you in on the latest theological debate that we are having on our ride home. Now, I will be doing day 7 of the Megan Boswell case today, but I do need to go grocery shopping. There is nothing in this house that looks even remotely appetizing to me, which is ridiculous because we have all the food in our house. We don't have a lack of food. We have a lack of food that I want to eat. And I am a picky butt, so I go shopping for myself. It is kind of weird, but I know there are tons of things that my family entirely loves that I don't really like, and I'll get my own food. So that is my goal today, and then I should be putting up Megan Boswell day 7, probably around 12 today. So I will get that started before I run out. Please stay warm, stay safe. I am sending you over to Baker for the pedal case after this. You have a little bit of time to wait, but you can go get your snacky snacks and do all that. Jeff Montgomery, I was thinking the same thing. I was also thinking, goodness, I'm not that crafty. But have a great day, and I will see you guys in just a little bit to take day 7 of the Megan Boswell, and it looks like there is the ASAP jury today, and then tomorrow we will probably be looking at a couple of hearings on the Petty Express and doing that. So I will see you guys there. Bye, you guys.